Good afternoon, Miss.
Good afternoon. Sorry I'm late by a few minutes, but we'll start now. And today we'll do mock 4 from the book. So let me just share the paper with you. Today I think the connectivity is poor because the weather is very bad, but we'll try nevertheless. And some of you, I think, may have difficulty in joining. So I think there are fewer students today. Nevertheless, we will continue. So this is the first passage from mock 4. I'll read it aloud for you. As I read aloud, I like to explain certain words and concepts. So just pay attention. So all over Japan, including in Tokyo, the cherry tree breaks into fat pink and white cherry blossoms in the month of March and April, heralding the arrival of spring. Japanese people flock in millions to spend an hour or two eating and drinking under the sakura trees. So now from this, the author calling the trees sakura in the second sentence, you should be able to understand that the Japanese name of cherry blossom trees is sakura. This is a tradition so old that it finds place in a 10th century work, The Tale of Genji, which is believed by some to be the world's first novel. So, which is the tradition being talked about? The tradition of going to celebrate the coming of the cherry blossoms by having a picnic under the cherry blossom trees. And the fact that this has been mentioned in one of the world's first novels, which some people believe to be the world's first novel, tells us the Japanese have a great literary tradition. This year, however, people flocking together posed a grave danger of spreading the coronavirus rapidly. Japanese authorities advised the people to avoid public gatherings, but this advice went unheeded. A 3-day weekend just at the time of the blossoms and the wonderful weather was too much to resist, and this year, as in the past, the blossoming of the cherry tree was celebrated. So we understand from this sentence that the weekend which had just passed when this article was written was a long weekend. Now, what is the meaning of a long weekend? That is usually a 3-day weekend, and usually we call it a long weekend when Friday is also a holiday for some reason or the other. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be a 3-day long weekend. Sometimes even Monday could be a holiday. So you have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That is also a long weekend. So this long weekend happens to coincide with the blossoming of the cherry trees. And the weather was also wonderful, and it was very traditional for the Japanese to have a picnic outdoors in this wonderful weather. Because this is not written over here, but Japan is one of the snowiest countries in the world. So when they have good weather, they certainly want to be outside. So even though they had been asked by the authorities to stay indoors this time, still they flocked to the cherry trees to have a picnic under the trees. In the beginning of February, Japan had the largest number of COVID infections after China, but the spread seems to have been controlled since then. And in the beginning of March was much less than in countries like Britain or Italy. So from this, we can understand so many things we can understand from this sentence. So first of all, we can understand that the highest infection rate when this article was written was in China, and the second highest was in Japan. But the Japanese infection rate had fallen from what it was in the beginning of March. So therefore, we can understand this article was written at least, in the middle of March or not later. Okay. And then it says it was much less than in countries like Britain or Italy. So from here, we can also understand that in Britain and Italy, the infection rate must have been pretty high in the middle or end of March. The reason for this is not determined. So the author says why the coronavirus infection reduced in number in Japan during that period is not known. The Japanese government did not resort to any draconian measures. What are draconian measures? Are dragon-like measures, very extreme measures, like in calling out a lockdown and then enforcing it strictly, like making sure people stay indoors by use of force. Those are draconian measures. So the author says the Japanese government did not resort to any draconian measures. The most they did was close down schools. So they closed down schools to ensure that children did not get affected. One possible reason could be that the Japanese are naturally inclined to believe in public hygiene. So the author says, what is public hygiene? And personal hygiene, there are two terms, public hygiene and personal hygiene. A personal hygiene is when a person keeps his own body clean. Public hygiene is like not spitting in public, not throwing garbage on the streets, and things like that. I mean, not doing anything which will hamper the level of cleanliness enjoyed by the other people in the community. In fact, when it first became known that the virus is so infectious, the Japanese shed their natural reserves, and there are reports of panic buying and street fighting over hand sanitizers and surgical face masks. So what does this mean? That the Japanese, from here we can understand that Japanese are naturally reserved people, which means instinctively, normally, they are very reserved, means they don't display their emotions in public, or they don't fight in public, they don't speak in loud voices. This is known as reserved behavior. So the Japanese are naturally very reserved in their behavior, but when they first came to know that the virus is so infectious, they wanted to buy hand sanitizers and surgical face masks. And obviously, when suddenly the demand for these things increased, we have seen that in all countries there was a shortage. So the author says that they they wanted uh, they wanted hygiene to be maintained to such a great standard that they were very anxious to procure the sanitizers and face masks. And this desire overrode their natural reserve, that normally they are not fighting in public, they're not shouting, but they were seen to be doing this in public to get uh, hand sanitizers and face masks. Another possible reason for the low spread could be the Japanese way of greeting with bows and not handshakes. This reduces contact and possibly limits the spread of the virus. So this, you must remember that this article was written in sometime in March. So it was not well known then at that time how the virus spreads, and the author is speculating that probably when we shake hands with others or we come in contact with somebody who has the virus, who is infected, that virus could be spread by person to person contact. So the author has suggested two reasons, though he says that it is not sure, but he has suggested two reasons for the low spread of uh, the coronavirus in Japan, or rather the spread initially and then the coming down of the rate of infection in Japan. One, he says that they are very conscious of public hygiene. So once they got enough of the hand sanitizers and hand masks, the Japanese would not have gone out in public without wearing the masks or having the hand sanitized. And secondly, he says that they do not shake hands And shaking hands, we have also, it has been confirmed with experiences all over the world that shaking hands increases the risk of spreading the infection. So the Japanese way of greeting is by bowing to each other and not shaking hands. And this could be another possible reason for the spread of the virus in Japan being lower than in Britain and Italy. This is a very short and very simple passage. And I think I have explained the implications also of the passage, which have been not directly written in the paper. Yes, go ahead. You want to answer the first question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, should I read question also?
Okay, read it aloud. Yes.
Question number 1. Which of the following forms one of the premise for the author's argument that Japan was able to control the spread of coronavirus because of the lofty standard of public hygiene practiced by the Japanese? Ma'am, according to me, answer should be C. When the Japanese people first heard about the disease, they abandoned self-control and fought with each other to buy sanitizers. I think this answer is A and B can't be answer as we see the passage, and D. Being very particular about public hygiene, the Japanese only flock together in spring when the weather is bright. So it is wrong written here in a passage. It is given that they flock together because of the cherry blossom. So I think answer should be C.
Correct. So, what was, okay, can you tell me the meaning of premise?
Premise means we can reason.
Correct. So, the question asks you what could be the reason for the fact that the Japanese government was able to spread the coronavirus disease. Um, and then the fun thing that the Japanese did not do was that they did not stop going to the cherry blossom festivals, right? So that was not one of the reasons. So, like you said, when the Japanese people first heard about the disease, they abandoned self-control and fought with each other to buy sanitizers and hand masks. So this is the what. So this gives us a reason uh, how they managed to maintain their levels of public hygiene in Japan. And the fact that is also mentioned that they abandoned self-control and fought with each other to buy these sanitizers and masks. So as you say, this is the correct answer. And option A is not correct because it is clearly said that they did not follow the directive and they actually uh, got together to have those picnics under the cherry blossom trees. The option B is also similar to option A, that they did not flock, but they did flock. And option D, being very particular about public hygiene, the Japanese only flock together in spring when the weather is bright. It does not give us a reason for the control of coronavirus. Okay, this is a very good thing to maintain a healthy lifestyle in normal days, that you go out when the weather is bright. That's very good for health, but it does not give us a reason for how the coronavirus infection was controlled. Moving on to the next question. Uh, yes, the other student who has raised her hand. Yeah, you go ahead now.
Ma'am, the question is which of the following is most likely to be true had the Japanese not been culturally conditioned to greet each other with bows? Ma'am, I think the option should be B. Japan may have had a wider spread of the coronavirus because in the last line of the passage itself it is mentioned that this was particularly one of the reason why Japan was able to control the spread of coronavirus. They are culturally, you know, uh, they have a culture in which they greet each other with bows and they avoid handshake. So that was, I guess, the reason.
Yes. And if they had not been greeting each other with bows, they would have been shaking hands. And that would have meant a larger increase of the spread of the virus. So you're absolutely correct. And option A, option A is also a correct answer in the sense that it says the Japanese would have greeted each other with handshakes. Now it seems like actually like a correct answer, but do you think it's really like if they had not been bowing to each other? Option A says that if they had not been bowing to each other, they would have been greeting each other with handshakes. Do you agree with this?
Ma'am, this is like, okay, it can happen, but maybe there would have been other ways in which they would have greeted each other. So,
Exactly. You are absolutely right. Yeah. So if they had not bowed to each other, does not necessarily mean they would have shaken hands. Maybe they have some other method of greeting each other. So that the third method. So that is why this is not a correct answer. We cannot choose this option. And option B, you have already discussed. Option C, the Japanese would have brought even more sanitizers than they did because they would have had to wash, uh, actually sanitize their hands more frequently. Well, they could have done this with soap also. So the purchase of more sanitizers is not, it is possible, but not necessary. So therefore, we do not choose it. And D says the government would not have been able to duck the draconian measures taken in the other countries. Now, this is also possible that the Japanese government may have, taken these very drastic measures, but it is not necessary. So you have to understand the difference between something that is possible and something that is necessary. Something that necessarily follows and something which is possible that it follows. So when you choose an answer, you must choose something which is absolutely necessary to uh, have followed the what the question asks us about. And similarly, there would be also certain things which are possibly the reason for something else happening, and there would be some one option which absolutely must be true for the conclusion to follow. So we must choose that option which is an absolute must to have happened for the conclusion to follow. The difference between something which is possible and something which is necessary. Sometimes something which is possible is also known as something which is sufficient, but it is not enough. It is, I'm sorry, um, yeah, something which is sufficient. It can cause something to happen, but it is like if it is raining and if you go out, you might slip. So it is possible for you to slip if you go out in the rain, but it is not absolutely necessary that only when it is raining you will slip. And also it is not necessary that if you go out in the rain, you must slip. So when you choose an option, you must choose that option which has to be absolutely true for either the conclusion to follow or for it to be the reason for the question is being asked. Yes, go ahead.
Which of the following can we infer from the passage? Third answer should be D. Though the Japanese have a lofty sense of public hygiene, they cannot resist the combination of falling sakura petals and bright sunshine and flock in the million to witness this. From passage, we can infer that though Japanese are very health conscious, means they take care of their hygiene, but still they don't follow the government rules. We can infer from the passage, and from D we can choose that option A, B, and C. We can't infer from the passage.
Okay, so can you just discuss option A in particular? Like, why do you
Okay,
say that we cannot infer
the Jap-
option A?
the Japanese frown upon the practice of shaking
Corona.
hands. The Japanese frown upon the practice of shaking hands to greet people. Ma'am, frown means they don't do that, right?
Yeah, it has nowhere been mentioned like they don't shake hands with people, they bow, but that doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily from that we cannot understand that if other people shake
yeah,
hands in other cultures, the Japanese think it is a bad practice. They never said that. The author has never suggested that anywhere in the passage. Okay? And
Yes, ma'am.
what about option B? Can you infer option B from the passage? Can you discuss that a bit?
The Japanese government is usually hesitant about imposing draconian
Draconian.
measure draconian measure as it taken in China and other countries. Ma'am, it is nowhere given in the passage about this.
The only thing that has been given in the passage that the Japanese government did not impose draconian measures to handle the COVID crisis. But
Yeah.
whether they impose it for other emergencies or other crises, we don't know. I mean, we cannot understand from the passage. From the passage, in fact, we can understand that China probably takes draconian measures because it has been so mentioned in the passage that uh, Japanese government did not take the draconian measures taken by other countries such as China. So from this, we can infer that Chinese government takes draconian measures very, many times, very often. And option C,
The Japanese people are extremely selfish and are prone to brawl in the street over items that might be in storage. Man, we can't give a biased opinion about one thing, and also it is not nowhere written in the passage that Japanese people are selfish and prone to brawl in the street.
yeah. In fact, it is written
हेलो
in the passage.
हाँ एक अदरक वाली चाय और 2 मट्ठी हाँ जल्दी भिजवा दो
Who is speaking?
Ma'am, please continue. Ma'am,
Ma'am,
avoid
you
them. Please
continue.
continue.
They all disturb like this only.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
ma'am.
I think what
Yes,
I'm
You
going
ma'am.
to do
continue.
is I'm going to mute all, and from after that, uh, I will unmute the person who has to speak. Okay, I will mute everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we'll raise our hands.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just find the option.
Ma'am, I think the person left, so it's okay if you can just leave us on unmute.
Where is the mute all option gone?
Ma'am, there's a shortcut to do it.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, it's ALT plus F4.
ALT plus F4. Okay. Oh, this is end meeting.
No, ma'am.
I just did that. It's asking me end meeting.
अच्छा वो मैम वो एक्चुअली M के लिए होता सो ओके वो फिर दूसरा होगा आपके लैपटॉप के हिसाब से
Wait a second. No, just give me a second. It was here. What has happened to it? One second. अच्छा ठीक है. Let's continue. I can't find it right now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was discussing option C. The Japanese people are extremely selfish and are prone to brawls in the streets over items that might be in shortage. In fact, in the passage, they have written that the Japanese people are naturally very reserved people. And it has been said that only when they understood the magnitude of the disease, this disease was so spread so fast that they got scared. And their brawling in the streets and fighting in the streets was in fact a very, very rare occurrence. And option C says that they are prone to brawls. What does prone to brawls mean? Prone means that they do this very often. In fact, so it is actually the opposite of what the Japanese people like to do. Okay? So that is definitely not the answer. Now let's move on to the next. Yeah.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Question 4 is which of the following solutions, if employed by the Japanese government, would have been most effective in preventing the panic buying caused by the first report regarding the coronavirus? Ma'am, I think the correct answer should be option B, ensuring a sufficient supply of sanitizers and masks combined with a cap on the number of each item that could be purchased per person. Ma'am, because in the passage itself we can infer that as soon as the people they got to know about this coronavirus, they created a ruckus on the streets to buy those sanitizers. So I think it should be
Yeah,
option B.
correct. So, but what is the question? We know they have told us, yes, there was panic buying on the streets. But the question asks, which solution, what could the government, Japanese government have done to prevent this? And the option you have chosen is says ensuring a sufficient supply of sanitizer and masks combined with a cap on the number of each item that could be purchased per person. So, your answer is correct, but can you tell me what is the meaning of cap on the number of each item? A cap.
Ma'am, to ma'am, cap on the number of each item that could be purchased a person means that a limit to be set. Like if there's a shortage of onion in my city, then the government imposes such certain norms that you have to buy only 5 kg per day. So I guess like that's something.
Okay, absolutely correct. When a cap is set on something, that a maximum limit is set on something. So therefore, when the Japanese people were all fighting in the streets and they wanted to get at sanitizers, now what is the responsibility of the government in such cases? The government should ensure that everybody gets a limited amount so that it can be shared amongst a larger number of people. Otherwise, I'm sure all of you know what happened in America. People went to the supermarkets and purchased everything off the shelf. Like if the supermarkets were empty. So some people got a lot of the things and some people did not get anything. So if the government ensures that there is enough supply and also that like okay आज तुम 2 ले जाओ 3 ले जाओ खत्म हो जाएगा फिर come back again, don't buy like 35 or 100 at a one time. So ensure putting a cap on the number of each item that one person could buy, this would have been a very effective method, and not just by the Japanese government actually. If every government had done this, and they did try to do it late in quite a number of places, this would have ensured that people did not have to fight for it. Okay? And looking at the other options, not
Yes.
informing the public about the effectiveness of hand sanitizers in fighting the disease. Do you think this would have been a correct answer?
Ma'am, not informing public about the effectiveness of hand sanitizers would have led like people, they wouldn't have known that it is useful in preventing the spread of coronavirus. They wouldn't have used hand sanitizers, and again it would lead to increase in the cases.
Absolutely. So not telling them, that you need to use hand sanitizers is absolutely not a good way for the government to deal with things. Just give me 1 minute. I have to just find that mute button. Just-
Ma'am, is everything fine?
Sorry.
Is everything all right? आप रुक गए एकदम से?
Yeah, everything is all right, but I'm just trying to find the mute button to
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
call. This is like, people have so much free time in the world to do such nonsense.
I agree,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
the person who is speaking right now who said like, is everything fine? He's the only one creating ruckus. And now
Yes,
pretending, yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am. Ma'am, this is the thing, they're troubling us from so much of so many days. Miss, and they
Yes,
act
ma'am.
like nothing has happened. And
Yeah.
once I complained Rishit sir, then they were all like, no, these girls, they're
Ah.
pranking. I mean, we aren't
And no one
pranking.
is understanding that they are the actual ones.
Yeah,
I-
they're
I
like,
can-
who is creating ruckus? Even, I mean, it's like ulta chor kotwal ko date.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Nice metaphor.
No, it's okay. Like this person thinks he's very smart and he knows
Yes,
a lot.
ma'am.
And
Please,
I
please,
wonder
one of you
what
turn
you're
your
trying
mics
to
off.
get.
We're
Anyway, we
not
will not
recording.
engage with people who do these things, and we will continue. And if at all, if we still find it difficult, we are going to take further steps about this. I mean, this is like, I don't understand what is the pleasure that we get out of it. Probably a person who has no brains, has flunked all the exams, is a pathetic loser in life, and that's
ना
this is
खुद
the
पढ़ो
only-
ना दूसरों को पढ़ने दो मैम, ये वाला फंडा है उनका.
Yeah, absolutely. माने जो loser होते हैं वही ये काम करते हैं ना.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go on. So ensuring
अब जिंदगी में बचा ही क्या है जीतने को.
अच्छा, just hold on. Huh?
Madam, simply remove that person from meeting.
I'm trying to find.
Ma'am, let's not waste our time. Why are you worrying that much because of them? It's leave it. We'll just ignore them. If one day we ignore them, they're gonna like keep
Yeah,
quiet.
okay, I found the mute all button. Okay. Okay, the third option was imposing a curfew on the streets. So public gatherings could be prevented and thus public brawls. So this obviously would not be a good option, because if they impose a curfew without actually making any provisions for the public to be getting their quota of hand sanitizers and masks, the disease would have spread. So the whole idea was to prevent the disease. I mean, that was the primary responsibility of the government. And imposing a curfew would have, stopped the public gatherings and stopped the brawls, but it would have really led to a spread of the disease. So this was not a good option for the Japanese government. Option D says informing people that since the happy days of the cherry blossoming were barely a month away, they should not fight in the streets. Now this is not correct, because the cherry blossom trees were already in bloom and the festival time was there. I mean, the public could see that the cherry blossom trees were blossoming, and if they just said this to the public, that would certainly not have convinced the public to stop going away. So now, next question, which of the following most accurately presents the main point of the passage? Now what I'm going to do is,
Ma'am, may I?
yeah, go ahead. One second,
Okay.
let me get it in the correct place.
Which of the following? Sure, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Which of the following most accurately express the main point of the passage? So here it is written most main point of the passage. So according to me, fifth answer would be A. The Japanese have not only effectively managed to limit the spread of coronavirus, but also to hold on the enthusiasm to celebrate the flowering of the cherry blossom. Ma'am, when we start reading the passage, this is the first starting lines written in the passage that they are managing the spread of coronavirus, but also we can infer from the passage that they are so enthusiastic or the celebrating the flowering and the of the cherry blossom. Option B, C and D are also given in the passage and they are correct, but they are not a main point of the passage. It is asked the main point of the passage, so A should be the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So this passage starts with telling us how the Japanese are going to celebrate the blossoming of the cherry blossom tree, but at the same time, they have managed to reduce the number of COVID cases in their country. So this is an combination of enthusiasm and public hygiene. Like you say, that option B, C, and D are true according to the passage, but that is not the main point which the author wants to convince you of. The author wants to, the option B, okay, one second. Okay, there is this person called Vidyush, whom I must remove. And Vidyush, if you can hear me, I think if you just spend some time like actually looking after your own life rather than bothering other people, you will achieve something in life. And I have got your details, and be sure that you're going to have some legal consequences. I think you've disappeared right now. Stay disappeared. Right. Okay, option C, there were brawls in the street of Japan and panic buying when the news regarding the coronavirus first became known, but the Japanese controlled the spread of the disease very effectively. Yes, this is also very correct, but it does not tell us about the enthusiasm of the Japanese for the festival of the cherry blossoms. So what actually, if I put it in even shorter words, in even fewer words, the passage, what the author is trying to tell us about the passage, he's trying to tell us that the Japanese people managed to reduce the spread of the coronavirus because of their intrinsic personalities, which involves enthusiasm for celebration, which involves respect for public hygiene, and which involves the government being very considerate. So all these factors together made it possible for them to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Now we shall go on to I think that was the last question of the passage. Yes, what do you want to say? Some person who's raised your hand, like, yes, go ahead, tell me. Where's the person who has raised his hand? Nobody.
Ma'am, he has
Disappeared, right? Yeah. So much time they have in their life. Okay. Next passage. As a young boy growing up in West Indies, yes, say what you want to say.
Ma'am, they're joining with different names. That's why.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ignore now. And I know now who are the students here. I have seen your names and yeah. As a young boy growing up in West Indies, Viv Richards, the great cricketer, idolized Sir Gary Sobers and Sir Wes Hall, just as Indian children idolize Sunny, that is Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev and Virat Kohli. So from the first sentence, now we know that this is going to be a passage about cricket, and that first sentence is presented to you as a fact. So in a logical reasoning paper, this is also, yes?
Ma'am, it's not me. That person has joined with my name.
Ma'am,
Well,
someone has
yeah,
with a fake name.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, they do it every time.
Oh,
Ma'am, yesterday someone joined with my name, but he got caught because he wrote like HIJAB and I write HEJAB. Now that person was that person was intelligent enough to know that my spelling is HEAJAB.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. We are working on it, and we are going to get the IP addresses of all these people, and they're going to be served with legal notice.
मैम आई थिंक ज्यादा नहीं, सिर्फ 5 दिन और चलेगा ये सब. उसके बाद तो ये लोग फिर दिखने वाले हैं नहीं, क्योंकि जो एक्चुअली में पढ़ने वाले हैं वो लोग ही सिर्फ रहेंगे.
हाँ हाँ, ये सब कर रहे
And
होंगे.
they were like telling that I am enrolled student. Like they were those people on Monday they were telling that no, we are also enrolled students. So if they're gonna stay, they're gonna create this ruckus again.
अच्छा, ठीक
Someone
है,
is
just throw them out.
coming with my name now.
we are going to throw out people who are, even if you're enrolled and you're not serious, you're going to be thrown out. So I hope people who are playing the
Ma'am,
fool are listening.
now online classes will finish. Like I from next
Yeah,
month we will start with our offline classes. So then there's no chance of anything happening.
yeah,
So
right. Anyway, and y'all are all,
Yes, ma'am.
most of y'all are for the next batch, right? So you have enough.
Yes, ma'am. 2021
Yeah.
and
So
2022 some.
yeah. So right. So then these 1 or 2 days of anyway. So yeah. First we're going to continue online classes also. So we're going to make sure that we find ways to have these people punished. And then anyway, most of y'all will all come to the offline classes. So we will.
Ma'am, when it's offline, then there is no Jadda Muqabla.
Yeah. Okay. My that just. So I was telling you that when you're reading a logical reasoning passage, you have to be aware of which of the sentences are presented to you as facts and which of the sentences are presented to you as opinion of the author. So how would you know the difference? The opinion of the author will have to be supported by reasons. If like the author says, okay, it's uh, suppose in this he had said that Viv Richard was the greatest cricketer, and if he gives you a reason for that, like I believe he was the greatest cricketer because of this and this reason, then that is an opinion that is presented by the author, and he is supporting it with reasons. But if he just states it like a fact, like he has done in this sentence, uh, of the first sentence of this passage, he's just said Viv Richards, the great cricketer, idolized Gary Sobers, etc. So this entire sentence is presented to you as a fact. So uh, a fact can never be the main point of a logical reasoning passage. You have to be aware of this. Like if it is a logical reasoning passage, the main point or the conclusion will always be supported by reasons. And questions will be based on the main point and the reasons and not on the statements which are presented as facts. Those are just the like supporting things leading to the conclusion being drawn by the author. So inspired by what his idols had achieved, youngsters in Viv Richards' time desired to follow in their footsteps, and they do today. So young people, the author says that young people idolize these great cricketers and they wanted to follow in their footsteps. The meaning of following in somebody's footsteps is to emulate them, to imitate them, to act in the same manner that they have done because they find the actions of these people to be very, uh, that they have achieved something. They are great people, so they want themselves to become like that. So young people, the author says, have managed to follow in the footsteps of these idols. The game has achieved greater heights today, both in the manner in which it is played and the money that is paid to the players. So the author says that the game has improved since the time of the great cricketers that he had mentioned earlier because of two reasons. Now, this is an opinion of the author because he has given reasons. The statement he has made is that the game has achieved greater heights today, both in the manner which it is played. So this is the reason. So why is he saying that the game has achieved greater heights? Because first reason, it is played in a better manner, and secondly, better money is paid to the players. So he is supporting his idea that cricket has achieved greater heights by these two reasons. Then he goes on to say also, he's giving more reasons. Batters bat better, bowlers bowl better, and fielders field better. So he's saying that all the components of a cricket team, batters, bowlers, and fielders, are doing their job better. In the days when Viv Richards was a youngster, his father used to tell him that cricket could not be a profession. It could not put food on the table. So here, this is the use of an idiom, putting food on the table. Putting food on the table means providing for your family. Like the basic requirement that a family has is food, right? So the person, the expression putting food on the table means to provide for your family. So what Viv Richards' father used to think was that in those days, since cricket was not paid very well, people who played cricket did not receive a substantial sum of money. It was not enough for the monthly expenses of a family. So he says that, okay, it's great. Viv Richards' father used to tell him, it's great that you're playing cricket, but don't take it up as your profession because you will not be able to make enough money from doing so. Happily, Richards did begin to get paid during the time his father was alive. So, what does this sentence imply? So, this sentence implies that early in his career, when Viv Richards was playing cricket, he was not even paid. Like he was just playing it for the fun of playing it. Like he was not getting paid at all. But he improved and he must have become part of the team. And then he did start getting paid for playing the game while his father was alive. So this also implies that Viv Richards wanted to uh, assure his father, wanted to impress his father, and wanted to make his father believe that no, cricket can also be a profession. It has slowly become very remunerative, and maybe I can take it up as a profession. It was not much, but nothing compared to what cricketers get paid today, but it was sufficient for Richards. So it says that Richards in those days, when he did start getting paid, he was paid a small amount. And nowadays, cricketers are paid much more, but whatever he was paid was enough for Richards. So it may not have been good enough to to take care of his family in a very comfortable manner, but Richards was happy with what he got. He said, you got to be happy with the cards you are dealt. Now, this is another idiom. The cards you are dealt or the hand you are dealt means whatever are your circumstances in life. Like if any of you play cards, then you are dealt certain number of cards. Some games it's 13, some games whatever number of
Ma'am,
cards, and that is the number of cards that you have to play with.
ma'am, Rakesh is disturbing the class. I'm
Just
just playing with it.
just pin my video, and just ignore him. Just pin my video, you'll not be able to see.
Okay, ma'am.
Sorry, ma'am. I didn't realize my video on thing.
Get a life, yaar. Huh. So you have to play with the cards that you're dealt in your hand. Now, suppose your cards are not good and your neighbor has like very brilliant cards. So you have to play your cards, the cards you are dealt, in a way that you will be successful, that you will be able to maybe even win the game or at least stay in the game. So this is what was the philosophy of Viv Richards. From here we can understand how Richards thought. Like he was not one to be jealous or envious of the persons around him, that they have been given better cards, they have a better advantage. Like in your life, you might think, oh, that person has been to a better school, or his parents have more money, or he's more healthy than I am. So therefore, he is doing better. And look at me, I don't have this and that and the other. But Viv Richards said, no, that is not the right attitude. You have to make the best of what you have. And not only just make the best of what you have to be happy with what you have. And when you are happy with what you have, you will be satisfied and your life will be happy. Otherwise, you will just be lost in a cycle of sadness. Today's young cricketers earn very handsomely, and more youngsters are attracted to the game for the earnings. So now what has changed? From this, again, this is implied, okay? This has not been written directly, but it has been implied that not only have cricketers not only do they get paid, now they get paid handsomely, even more than just enough to make ends meet or put food on the table. And because of this, now the youngsters earlier used to be attracted to the game mainly because of their love for the game or their idolization of the cricketers who played the game. But now they are even attracted to the game because they think that it could be a great source for earning.
Rakesh is
So
playing
that's
Same Beef by Sidhu
okay. Let him
Moosewala.
be. Just ignore him. Just ignore him. Just pin my video. Why are you watching his video?
Ma'am, I like Sidhu Moosewala.
Man, that Kabir is also among them.
Okay, just
Avoid him.
1 second.
Rakesh, if you dare, come with your original name and show your face. If you dare to do these all things.
कौन है भाई तू?
Okay, so we were here that the cricketers are now getting paid handsomely. Though that's great, believes Richards, the successful cricketers and the youngsters must not forget that they stand on the shoulders of giants. So now here is another uh, uh, snippet of another look into another, we can understand what the personality of Viv Richards is from another statement. So he says that, okay, it's great that, youngsters are being paid a lot of money now, but they must remember that there were people who came before them, and because of those people, like their struggle, and they asked, to be paid, and they played cricket and they taught the youngsters. So therefore now the first people who are playing cricket now should not forget that if this had not happened, they would be in the position where those people were in the earlier days. So standing on the shoulders of giants. Now this is another idiom, the use of another idiom over here. So when you stand on somebody's shoulders, like you can be higher than that person, you can see further than that person can see. So this means that somebody has done some basic groundwork before you and is now helping you to achieve something greater than that person had achieved. But you would not be able to achieve that level of success if the person had not come before you and paved the way for you. So that is another advice Viv Richards is saying. The first thing he told people was that be happy with your situation in life, and always remember the people who have made it possible even to achieve that uh, place in life, and then work from there. They must always they must respect the money they are earning now, but not let it go to their heads. So another thing that Viv Richards is telling people, that great, you're earning good money and you must respect it. So you must respect it. He's talking about respecting money, which means not wasting the money and not just throwing it away, like using it wisely. When you respect something, you use it in a proper manner. And also he says you must not let it get to your head, which means when something gets to your head, again, that's a use of another idiom, which means that you lose sight of what is right or wrong. When something gets to your head, you become very proud, very conceited, and very opinionated, and you start feeling that you are the best person that there ever was, and you start disrespecting the people around you. So Viv Richards said, okay, even if you're earning a lot of money now, this is no reason for you to think that you're superior to the people around you who may not be earning as much as you are. Next sentence again, having more money than another person does not make the first person better. So he is again clearing making it more clear what he said in the previous sentence, that if one person has more money than the next person, that does not mean that he is a more superior person or a better person. The one who earns most is not the best human being. So money does not give you a right to stand at the beginning of a queue. Like, you are not the uh, best person. There are so many other qualities, so many things which make up what is the goodness that a human being needs to achieve. Money is just one of them. Richard advises the cricketers of today to remain humble. So he's saying that, okay, you play better cricket, you earn more money, but you must remember, remember the people who made it possible, and you must remain humble. So here in this passage, what is the main point the author is trying to tell us? Like, the passage is about cricket, but the main thing that the author is trying to tell us, that in any situation in life, you must be at peace with the place where you find yourself. Try to achieve your best, and when you do achieve something, you must remember those who made it possible, and you must know that just achieving any particular thing does not make you better, give you the right to be uh, rude to the people around you, and does not make you superior to any other human being. This is what the author is actually trying to tell you through the example that he uses of players, great players, and especially of Viv Richards. So let's go on to the questions. So the first question here. Okay, go ahead.
Based on his statement in the passage above, which of the following is Viv Richard most likely to agree with? Ma'am, I think the option should be D. Wealth is not a measure of worth of a person, because in the last line it is written, having more money than another person does not make the first person better. The one who earns the most is not the best human being. So, ma'am, I think this should be the answer.
Absolutely. And what do you think about option A? Do you think it's uh, correct option? Would Viv Richards agree to this?
Uh, Ma'am, it is written in the past the parents did not expect their sons to earn handsomely. Ma'am, it is in the passage in the starting, it's written that their father, he wanted that. Mm,
Yeah, it's written
Ma'am,
that.
should I continue?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am, the father of Viv Richards, he wanted him to earn like enough so that he can at least run his own kitchen. So, and he was against like him playing cricket, because I think he thought that it would not help him to earn handsomely. So option A goes wrong.
Mhm. So it does say about Viv Richards' father, but it does not make a general statement about all the fathers.
Yes, ma'am. All the parents. It was just about his father, and that too he did. It was not like he didn't expect his son to earn handsomely. He was just like, you need to do something which would help you to run your kitchen.
Okay, so coming back here, so in Viv Rich, it is mentioned in the passage that Viv Richards' father did not expect him to earn handsomely, but that does not tell us anything about all the other fathers around, because there would be people who would be taking up different professions which would be earning them money, and so there would be all kinds of fathers and all kinds of children in the world. So therefore, we cannot say that option A is the correct option. Now, coming to option B, cricketers nowadays are being much more than they deserve to be. Now, the passage says that the Viv Richards says that he says that he agrees that cricketers are being paid more, but nowhere does he suggest that they don't deserve that money. If at all, we can imply it is implied that he might think that when he was a young cricketer, he was paid less than he deserved to be paid. But now he is not making any statement which says that they don't deserve enough, but he's saying that whatever they earn, they must respect. That is a different, totally a different uh, understanding or, advice that he's giving. He's not talking about they're not deserving it. See, youngsters should take up playing cricket as players can now earn a lot of money. I don't think Viv Richards has actually said this at all. The author has said that youngsters are making this decision for themselves, but the question asks which of the following is Viv Richards most likely to agree with. So, in this type of questions, you must also keep in mind whether the person whose opinion is being the asked, like the question is based on whose opinion, the author's opinion, or is it based on the opinion of somebody who is mentioned in the passage? So here, the author is talking, the question is about the opinion of Viv Richards. So Viv Richards has certainly not said anything about taking up the profession because it now allows them to earn a lot of money. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ma'am, can
Hmm. Yes. Can unmute yourself now?
yes, ma'am. Can you move? Hello, ma'am. I'm
Yes, I can
audible.
hear. Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, can you move a bit down? Question. I can't see it
Okay,
properly.
all right, yes.
Yeah. Which of the following, if true, would most weaken with Richard's argument in the passage above? So option A, no batsman anywhere in the world today can match the way he batted. So in passage, Viv Richards says that now the cricket has been improved a lot as compared to the time he was playing. Also, he is not saying that that he was the best batsman or he was the only batsman who played very well. So this option A weakened the arguments the most of the Viv Richard. Option B, Sunil Gavaskar has recently purchased a it is Lamborghini Venavo Roadster. It is nothing stated in the passage, so we can't say it uh, weaken the argument of Wave Richards. Ma'am, C and D. I can't see.
Okay, so first of all, before we continue with the discussion of this question, what is Viv Richards' argument in the passage above? Like, what are the things that he has said? So we have to know that before we try to, weaken his argument, before we try to break down his argument. So can you give me a short summary of what are Viv Richards' argument in the passage?
Ma'am, it was lagging a bit. So whatever I am remembering, I'll tell that in the passage, it is Viv Richard was saying that whenever he was batting or whenever he was playing cricket, from that time now it has been developed a lot in cricket. People have been more good in the cricket field. Also, they have been developed in a cricket. Also, he has said that only cricket is not means if you earn the money, that is not only the thing for the prosperity, means earning a money is
Yeah.
not enough, like this also he has said. That's it,
So
I'm remembering.
yes. So I'll just fill in the gap. So first of all, he has said that cricket has vastly improved. The game of cricket has vastly improved in the manner in which it is played, and also he has said that the cricketers are paid much better. And then he has gone on to give advice to the new cricketers about how they should behave. Okay? So his first uh, statement is that cricket has improved a lot. The batters are batting better, the fielders are fielding better, and the bowlers are bowling better. But option A says that no batsman anywhere in the world can match uh, the way he batted. So therefore, this definitely goes against his statement that everybody is playing a better game. So if batters are batting better than all the previous batsmen, they would be batting better than Viv Richards himself. So this weakens his primary basis of whatever he says later in the passage. Now, option B says Sunil Gavaskar has recently purchased a Lamborghini uh, Roadster, which means it's a very, very expensive car. So, this says, what does this mean? That he is being paid a lot. Okay? So, he said that Sunil Gavaskar is being paid a lot. So, Sunil Gavaskar uh, earned a lot of money and he has saved a lot of money and now he is buying this Lamborghini. This does not go against Viv Richards' argument that what was his argument in this context that the new cricketers are being paid more than cricketers in his time were being paid. So this argument, this option about Sunil Gavaskar having a lot of money does not go against that statement of Viv Richards. Thirdly, it says past captains of Indian teams have come together to provide excellent training facilities for promising boys and girls between ages 10 and 9, 10 and 13. This would, in fact, strengthen Viv Richards' argument that now people are playing better. Youngsters are playing better because they are being given better training by people who have been experts in the field. So that would go, in fact, towards making them better. Fourthly, the last option is Indian world-class cricketers are poorly paid in comparison to their counterparts in developed countries. Now, his statement in this respect is that all cricketers are now paid better. Now, if this option is that Indian cricketers are paid poorly in comparison to those cricketers, the cricketers in the developed country, this may be true, but still Indian cricketers are now paid much better than Indian cricketers used to be paid in the past. So this does not go against Viv Richards' statement that cricketers in general are paid much better than cricketers were in the past. So option A is the only one which goes against any of the points that has been raised in the passage. Yeah. Now going on to the next question. Yeah, unmute yourself.
What role does Viv Richards' comment, "You got to be happy with the cards you are dealt," play in his argument that though he was paid much less than the cricketers today, he was satisfied? Ma'am, I think the correct answer should be C. It is a premise that the argument is based upon, because that was the reason why he was happy being paid less, even less than the cricketers nowadays, but still he was happy because he got to what was that idiom? He got to be because he was happy with the cards he was dealing with.
Yeah, correct. So if you read it like this, that though he was paid much less than the cricketers today, he was satisfied because you got to be happy with the cards you are dealt. So anything that
Yes,
can
ma'am.
that fits after because gives a reason. So therefore, definitely this is a premise that the argument is built on. And what is the argument? The argument is, or the claim is, that you must, though he was paid, though you're even if you're paid less than the cricketers, other are paid, you should be satisfied. That is the premise. I'm sorry. That is the argument that he is,
Argument.
yeah, that he is finding a reason
Happy.
for. Yeah. Okay. Which of the following? Yeah. Next question. So, which of the following can be conclusively inferred from Viv Richards' statements in the passage above? Viv Richards' father was disappointed with him for choosing cricket as a career. His father believed that one could not put body and soul together by playing cricket. Young Indians are more impressed by Virat Kohli than by Sir Gary Sobers, and playing professional cricket can earn you salaries which are higher than any other profession. So let's go from the bottom up. Uh, this cannot be inferred. Option D cannot be inferred from the passage, because though the passage says that you can earn very high salaries, but that nothing has been said to allow us to compare the salary earned in cricket with the salary from any other profession. Young Indians are more impressed by Virat Kohli than by Sir Gary Sobers. This also cannot be inferred from the passage, because though it has been said that Indians are impressed with Virat Kohli, nothing has been said about whether they are in fact impressed by cricketers from other countries or not. Like when they talked about West Indies, they have mentioned West Indies players. When they have talked about India, they have mentioned Indian cricket players. But that does not tell us anything about what they think uh, about players from another country. Option B, his father believed that one could not keep body and soul together by playing cricket. So this definitely seems right, because he said that you cannot put food upon the table by playing cricket. Don't choose cricket as a profession. He advised Richard's father had advised him though to not choose cricket as a career profession, because it would not be possible to put food on the table. Viv Richards' father was disappointed with him for choosing cricket as a career. Uh, that has not been said in the passage, though Richard's father has warned him about not choosing it because he would not earn enough money. But I don't think in the passage it has suggested that Viv Richards' father was disappointed with him. Like, he may have been a very supporting father who pointed out to his son that, okay, you will not earn enough money when you play cricket, but he still may have been a very supporting person. So see, let us look at what he said. His father used to tell him that cricket could not be a profession, it could not put food on the table. So yes, his father had suggested to him that it would be difficult for him to make enough money, but it does not tell us whether ultimately, when Viv Richards did choose the profession, whether he was disappointed or not. Also, we have also been told that Viv Richards had started earning money even while his father was alive. So even if his father in the beginning did not see him making money, towards the end, he did see him making money. So he would have changed his mind even if he had been in the beginning disappointed with it. With that, we come to the last question of this passage. And I think we will end here today because not much time is left and we would not be able to achieve much right now. So I will stop here today, and in case you have any questions, I will take any questions regarding these passages or any other question regarding logical reasoning. If anybody has any question, please raise your hand. If not, then I'll end here today, and I'll see you again next Thursday. Good afternoon, students. I'll end the meeting now. And yeah, you're all muted, so I will take your good afternoon for granted. Bye-bye.